Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Q&A session with me, Elke. But I am a fiction author and a fiction book coach, and I help writers on their journey to being the best writer that they can be. So I posted a poll with some questions, sorry, it's my cat in the background, of questions that you'd like answered. So I'm going to be answering two questions today. The first one is going to be, what are the best places to write? And I'm going to throw in a little extra in there for you tonight. And the second question is, how many beta readers should you have? So I'm going to dive into the first question. The best places to write. Now, for me personally, it's always been coffee shops. I love coffee shops. For some people, it's a little bit noisy. I like it because I can put my headphones in, have my music on, and I love to people watch. So that works really well for me. So that's one option. Outdoor spaces are a really great option as well too, but I recommend that it's someplace cool and covered because the weather can be unpredictable, and those spaces tend to be really good for your creativity if you are inspired by being outside in nature. Sorry, my daughter is coming in to the video in the background, so trying to make me laugh. But anyway, so another space to write are libraries. If you like peace and quiet, library is a fantastic spot to go, and you're surrounded by books. It doesn't get any better than that, right? So that is a fantastic option. And another option is a designated space in your home. Now, when I say designated space, I mean a space that actually encourages you and inspires you to write. Because a lot of times we don't always have a space in our home, or we're sitting at the dining room table where there's a lot of noise and other things going on, and it's really difficult to get into the swing of writing. So what I recommend is a designated space. It doesn't have to be huge or big. It just can be a space that is your space, and that you let everybody know that it's your space, so that when you go sit there, it fits your needs and it allows you to be able to fit your time to write. Now, that's just some places that I personally use. If you have other places that you like to write that inspires you and encourages you to write, I'd love for you to share those in the comments, and maybe that will encourage other writers to try those out for themselves to see if those are a good fit for them. Now, I'm also going to share a little bit because a lot of times it's not just about finding the right place to write, it's also about how to maximize your writing time, as well as how to avoid distractions, because a lot of times when we go to different places to write, the biggest hurdle we have is distractions. If we're working at home, it's perhaps other people in the home or just things that you see that need to be done. Those can be distractions. If you're in public spaces, it could be people, it could be noise. So I'm going to share with you some tips on how to maximize your writing time and reduce those distractions. So one of the things that I love to do to maximize my writing time is, the first thing I like to do just off the bat whenever I am sitting down for a writing session, no matter where I am, is before I go, I always think about, what is it that I'm going to write first off. And what that allows me to do, it sort of gets my creativity going, gets my brain thinking about what I'm going to do before I get there, so that when I sit down to write, I'm not using that time to think, okay, what am I going to write? What's my goal going to be? What's this? What's this? I already know that ahead of time. And that can look like just brainstorming in my head. Another thing that I do is, when I actually physically get to my writing space, or I'm in my writing time, is I will take 5 minutes and just brainstorm really quickly all the things that I've been gurgitating in my mind down. This not only helps me to not be wasting time thinking about what I'm gonna write, but I also have already started those juices flowing, and I find that doing that 5-minute summary usually turns into longer, and then it also helps me to write longer scenes and write more words. That works fantastic for me, and I do that every single time. So the other thing I do is I make sure that I know what is my goal going to be. What is it that I'm going to, am I going to write one chapter? Is it going to be 2,000 words? Like, what is the goal that I'm going for? Because like I said, it's just something that helps me to strive for. It could be, how long am I going to write? I'm going to write for an hour. It's just a good idea to have that ahead of time so that you have a destination in mind, so to speak. Now, if that doesn't work for you, that's fine. If it's better for you to just sit down and start writing, then great. But if you are struggling when you sit down to write, that you're wasting a lot of time, these are some things that have helped me and hopefully will help you as well too. I also like to make sure that I have everything that I need packed ahead of time so that when I am going to sit down or going to the place that I'm going, I have everything that I need and I'm not, oh crap, I left my pen, or oh, I need to get this, and oh, I forgot my notebook. I make sure that I say, okay, I'm doing this writing session. You know, do I need the story Bible? What all do I need? Is it on my computer? Do I have a journal? Do I have a file that I've created? What are all the things that I need? Do I have all the pens, pencils, highlighters, everything? I mean, I know that sounds crazy. I have a little Ziploc thing that I use that has all my highlighters and pens, erasers, everything that I use, pencils and erasers, everything that I use when I go to a writing session. I carry that with me everywhere so that it's always with me. I used to carry a journal, but to be honest with you, I don't carry that anymore because I have a smaller handbag and I like big journals. But anyway, so that's another thing that you can do in order to help to maximize your writing time. When it comes to your writing space, one of the things that I like to do is I like to make sure the space, especially if you're writing from home, that your space is welcoming and it's going to spark your creativity. Now for me, I like to have what do you call it? It's a scene. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can see the picture in my mind, but basically it's a scene of a vineyard in Venice, or not Venice, sorry. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's somewhere in Europe. The name is escaping me at the moment. Florence, there you go, Florence. It's a scenery, and I always have that in 99% of the time where I'm writing, that picture is there, or I'm where that picture is, because it's just, it reminds me of just this movie that I watched that was set in Florence, and it's just always been inspiring and encouraging to me. So that's one of the things I recommend, is to put things in the space where you're going to write, especially in your home, that is actually going to spark your creativity and make it inviting. This can also look like making sure that you have like all your favorite things that you love to use when you're writing. This could be your favorite sayings from, you know, your favorite authors, or whatever it is that helps to inspire and encourage you to write. These are things that I encourage you to put in your space, because it really helps to not only with distractions, because your focus, it's your writing space, but it also, like I said, it helps to spark your creativity as well too. Another thing I recommend is lighting, good lighting. I know that seems minor thing, but I can't tell you how many times I've actually like gone to sit in a space and I can't write in the dark. For me, I need good lighting. Because you're not straining, looking at the paper, or your journal, whatever, you've got great lighting. And I think lighting is supposed to be, good lighting is supposed to be helpful for you as well too, in some way. I can't think what it is right now off the top of my head, but good lighting. So those are some of the things that will help you to make your writing space, help you to maximize your writing space. Thank you. Now, when it comes to distractions, what I recommend is turning off the notifications on your phone and your computer. If that's not something that you're able to do, or that you can't be bothered to do because it's a pain or whatever, I personally If I don't turn off my notifications, I sometimes, if I'm really struggling, I will put the phone in the next room, because it's like, I'm finding that it's distracting me constantly, whether it's buzzing or just a temptation to pick it up and look at it, then it goes in the next room, because I only have windows and pockets of time to focus on certain tasks. So I have to make sure that that's what I do in order to be able to do what I want and not be distracted. So that is one thing that's really important. Another thing is, I personally like to listen to music when I'm writing. I don't listen to music when I'm editing, but I do like to listen to music when I'm writing. And this is good. Like, if you're like me, where you've got 100 million things floating around in your brain at all times, for me, the music helps to kind of distract those things in my mind so that I can focus on what I'm doing. Now, if you like quiet, noise canceling headphones work really great, as well as I've found that focus music, this is something new that I've just started discovering. YouTube has a lot, and it's just something I kind of stumbled on by accident. They have what they call focus music, and it's certain, not all of them I can listen to because some of them irritate me, but you find the right one and wow, I can sit there and it's like, boom, an hour gone, 2 hours, and I am still focused and working, not letting anything distract me. So that is something new that I've been using that has been fantastic. So I highly recommend it if you get easily distracted. That's another way, is to try some focus music. That is my tips on how to not just maximize your writing time, but also to how to avoid distraction. There's lots and lots of other things that you can do, but I'm trying to keep this video to hopefully 30 minutes. Last time it was an hour, but they were really long, in-depth questions that needed to be answered. So, and if you haven't watched that yet, I want to encourage you to go check out that video. I answered 2 really great questions, which was how to go from writing your book to getting it published. And then the other one was, how do you market your book after you've launched? So if those are questions you'd like answers to, I want to encourage you to go watch that video. All right, I did forget one thing. This is why I have notes. When it comes to maximizing your writing time, one thing I forgot to mention is to make sure that you're writing during your most creative or most energetic times whenever possible. Now, what that looks like is, let's face it, throughout the day, we can always feel the ebb and flow of our energies. Not everybody does, but most people either are or aren't aware of it. I know when mine are. If you don't know when yours are, I highly recommend sort of tracking it just for like a day or a week. Just times that you're most energized and you feel like, oh, I can do this and I want to do this, and you know, you're energized basically. Or perhaps you're most creative. And once you track those times, is to utilize those times to write whenever possible, because that will make your writing sessions be a lot smoother, better, faster. So that was one tip I forgot to mention. Next, so that is wrapping up the best places to write. If you have strategies or things that you use to help you to maximize your writing time, as well as to help you to keep not get distracted when you're writing, I'd love for you to share those in the comments so others can get ideas for themselves that will help them as well too. So on to the next question, which is, how many beta readers should you have? Now, the quick answer is as many as you want. Because the truth is, there is no right or wrong or amount or answer. And the reason for that is, the truth is, I know writers who have 2 or 3 beta readers, and I know writers who have as many as 35 or more beta readers. So it really depends on you. And why I say that is, you need to keep in mind, depending on the number of beta readers that you want to have, the time it's going to take them to provide the feedback. Because when you're trying to coordinate 35 people, it's going to be really difficult to try to make sure that they're able to give you the feedback that you're looking for in the time frame that you're looking for. So that's something to consider. The other thing is the time for you to go through all of that feedback to incorporate that into your book as well too, because reading feedback from 35 people and then figuring out what you're going to keep, what you're not going to keep, that takes a lot of time as well too. And the other thing is, how reliable are they with giving you a review? Because not everybody, but some people use beta readers to provide as reviewers as well too. So there might be some people who, and that's not necessarily always the case. I'm fortunate enough that my beta readers also double up, so that if I know that I'm giving it to these beta readers, they also will write reviews. And that's why some people like to have more beta readers. However, if it's kind of like giving away ARCs, free ARCs. If you give away 100 books, there's no guarantee that you are going to get 100 reviews, right? Because not all of those people are going to be reliable. So that's another thing as well too. And then on the end of that, how reliable are they with getting back to you on the feedback that you need when you need it? Because, yeah. So the other thing one of the things I forgot to mention that I was going to say before I started to answer the question is some of you might be wondering, what are beta readers and how do they benefit you as an author? So let me backtrack and answer that for you. So for those of you who don't know who beta readers are, they're basically readers who read your book for you and provide you feedback. Now that can range from somebody who's giving you like really tangible feedback from an editing perspective, or they may just be giving you feedback from a reader perspective, as if, was it a good story? How were the characters? They're basically giving you an early review of your book and providing you with feedback so that you might need to tighten up the story, tighten up your characters, different things. So that's basically what beta readers are. Now they're great to have because how they're beneficial is that they provide you with fantastic feedback, so you're getting sort of a early feedback from readers before you actually put your book out there. So if there's major issues in the story, they may be able to find it, point it out, and you're able to change that before your book goes out. So that's how beta readers can be really helpful. The other thing is that they can also be utilized for providing you with reviews when the book comes out. That's what I use it for, as well as they can also help to promote your book. There's some beta readers that will help with all of that just because they're what you call super fans. They'll read anything that you write because they love your work, they love your reading, they love to get that early quick peek and be part of the whole process. So that is how beta readers can be helpful for you as a writer. The other thing to think about when you're using beta readers, some authors will use templates, and some authors will just sort of give the beta readers free range. Now, I personally, it depends on the beta readers, because I have beta readers that are like super fans. They love my work. They love to read my stuff ahead of time, and they're happy to just say, yep, I loved it, or point out maybe one or two things, but nothing major, because they're looking at it from a reader perspective. They give reviews and they share those reviews and basically promote the book. And then there's other beta readers that are more like, they really like to dive into the story and they like to give very detailed, tangible feedback. And for those beta readers, I create a template of different things for them that I want them to look at as they're reading the book and give me feedback on. So it really depends on the beta readers. There's some authors that just send a template out to all their beta readers and they just fill in where they can and where they're able. So that's another thing to think about, is if you're going to use beta readers, what process are you going to use? Are you going to have a process, or are you just going to let it go free? The other thing I do as well too is really important that you give them a deadline and a time frame that you need them to write the book. What I usually do, send out an email and say, okay, I've got a book that is ready to go out. Is anybody available to read it for the month? I try to give a month. So for the month of October, I've got a book that's coming out. Is anybody able to read the book in October? Not everybody can, which is one reason to have a lot of beta readers, so you have a pool to pull from. And then I'll have maybe however many people will come back and say yes, 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 or they'll say, no, I can't, but maybe I can read it when it's out and give you a review. So that's something to think about. And then I also say, you know, I need it by this time frame so that it's clear to them, and then they know that, you know, if they're not able to meet that timeline, then that deadline, to let me know ahead of time so that it's clear what the expectations are from both parties. And so that it doesn't keep pushing back your timeline on when your book is gonna come out, to be quite honest. Because if you're dealing with a lot of people, if you're waiting for their feedback and it goes past that deadline, then you're pushing your deadline out as well too, as far as when your book's gonna come out. So that's why it's important to have that deadline. So if you have any questions about beta readers, I do have another video that I've done that kind of dives into a little bit more about beta readers, the do's and don'ts. What am I saying? That's not a video. That is in one of my training programs. Scratch that. But if you do have questions, post them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them for you. This is looking to be a 30-minute video, which is fantastic because I know 30 minutes is usually the sweet spot for people. So go ahead and share with me in the comments if you've used beta readers, what your experience has been, and if you have a process, because I love processes. And then just post in the comment and let me know, and I will be happy to read those. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel to get other videos. And if you want to be part of these Q&As, watch out for my polls that I post, either in the group or here on the YouTube channel. All right, take care. See you later.